Texting your way to customer service. Is that even possible? We're going to talk about that today. I'm Angela Brown, and this is Ask a House Cleaner. This is a show where you get to ask a house cleaning question, and I get to help you find an answer. Now, today's question comes from house cleaners far and wide, and they want to know if they can text their way to customer service. Is it possible? And every day they try. Every day they have customers that respond to them via text, and then they screenshot these texts and they email them to me, and they want to know if I can help them decipher what the customer is trying to say. Are you texting your way to customer service? If you are, I got news for you. It's time to back up on the technology. Now, I am the first to admit that I love technology. I love my smartphone because it's an alarm clock, it's a calendar, it's got all my apps on it. It lets me listen to podcasts and music while I'm out jogging. Lots and lots of things that my smartphone will allow me to do, including texting my customers the day before an appointment to make sure that we're still on for tomorrow. But here's the catch. When I send a text to my customers, I lose the human connection. I lose the eye contact and the vocal variety and the gestures and the ability to communicate the nuances that go on in the conversations behind the text. The text are just words. In fact, texting has become so popular that they created emojis to try to add the face element back in, right? If I add a happy smiley face, that suggests to you in my text that I'm happy, right? This is good. I'm happy. Here's a happy emoji. And if I have an angry emoji, then you're like, ugh, she's not so happy about that. But there's still a human element that gets lost in the texting translation. Okay, so let's back up just a step. If you have customers that are firing you via text, this is a perfect opportunity to get on the telephone and to make a good old-fashioned telephone call and reconnect with that person. When you went over to their house and you bid the contract and you did the initial walkthrough, that is the time that you built rapport with that customer. They hired you based on the face-to-face interaction. They liked you as a person. They liked the sound of your voice. They liked the things that you had to say. And so they hired you based on the things that they fell in love with in that moment. Now, if you've been cleaning their house for a long time or even a little bit of time, and somehow or another something has been lost in the translation, either your work did not live up to their expectations or something has changed, if now you're only responding via text, there's a very good reason why you may have been fired. The customer lost that reason or the feeling they received when they fell in love with you and they hired you for the very first time. So my suggestion is get back on the telephone and call the customer. Say, hey, listen, I know you just fired me, and I understand that this may not be a good time for you to pursue house cleaning, but we got along so famously. I just want to know, is it something that I did? Is it something I said? Is it something I didn't do? What is it so that I can fix that problem as I move forward in the future? And if you approach it with a, I want to help attitude, they'll be very honest with you and candid, and they will share their experience. Now, I had a woman who fired me via text, and when I called her up on the telephone, I said, listen, we got along so well. I love coming to your house and cleaning. Something's happened. What has happened? Because I just got a brief text that I'm fired and I don't know why. And she said, oh, it's not you at all. My mother just died and I ended up with her whole entire estate of stuff in my house. So now I am more disorganized than I've ever been in my house. I'm completely overwhelmed. I have no idea what to do with any of the stuff. And I just don't know that I can move forward with house cleaning with all this extra stuff. So I said, oh, well, so that if it's not me at all, would it make it easier for you if I brought a professional organizer with me and we helped you find a home as you sort through all of your mother's things? And she said, oh my goodness, that would be lovely. Yes, let's do that. So instead of me getting fired from the job, it ended up being that I was able to bring someone else on the project, and together we were able to help that customer in a way that was of best service to her. And it wasn't about me at all. It would have been really easy to look at that text and say, well, I don't know what her problem is. You know, she just fired me via text. I thought everything was fine, whatever, and then walk away. And too often, as house cleaners, we just walk away, right? Because it's easier to just read the text and go, whatever. No, not whatever. You spend a lot of time building rapport with that customer. They're already a customer. You've already done the walkthrough. You've already been at their house. You've already auditioned for the job, right? They already knew and loved you and trusted you once. So if they're firing you now, there's probably a very good reason why. And if it's via text and you turn and walk away, you're going to repeat the same errors over and over and over again because you don't know what you did wrong. And if you didn't do anything wrong, now you're just spending a lot of time spinning your wheels, reinventing the marketing cycle so that you have new customers coming in. When the reality might be that a conversation, either on the phone or face-to-face, would shed a whole new light and reconnect you with that moment when you did your initial walkthrough. Now, I had a customer that fired me again via text. I don't like being fired via text. That's just not cool. Don't fire me via text. Just pick up the phone and call me and tell me why. So I called her up and I said, listen, something happened. I don't know what it is, but something happened. So how did we get from here, you love my house cleaning and you're giving me tips, to now I'm fired via text? Something happened in the gap. And she goes, no, it's not you at all. I'm just getting divorced and I can't afford house cleaning any longer. And I didn't want to go into my personal problems about the divorce and all these things, but I don't even know if I'm going to have this house. And so I need to stop the house cleaning. I need to reserve my budget, all these things. Wait a second. Are you okay? She said, no, I'm not okay. My whole life is completely displaced. Okay, so if that's the case, maybe you would consider a house cleaning business where you can get back on your feet and get your own money and start over again. And she's like, I never thought of that. And she went from being my client to being a house cleaner and starting her own house cleaning business. So there are things that you don't know. But when you get back in touch with the customer and you reconnect with that moment where you did your initial walkthrough and you built that rapport, so many times you will find hidden nuances and hidden elements either about their lives or about your business that now they're going to share with you and say, wow, you really screwed this up. Okay, great. Thank you for telling me. Now I won't screw it up again at all my other customers' houses. But you have to be willing to pick up the phone, go back in time to the point where we actually talked to people on the telephone. Our lives don't revolve around texting. And while it's convenient, it's not convenient for the human element. So much gets lost in the translation. So if your go-to is texting, I'm going to encourage you to stop. And if something is not easy to understand via text, call the person up on the phone and just say, hey, listen, even if you have to leave a message, hey, this is Angela. I just got a text from you and I'm super confused. I hate that I'm super confused because you and I have always been so clear on understanding. Give me a call back at your earliest convenience and tell me what the heck is going on, because I feel like I really screwed something up and I don't want to leave things this way. And they will. They'll call you back and go, no, here's what happened. And if they're not positive about it and they do hate you, they'll tell you that too. Man, I hate you. Get lost. Great. Thank you so much. Now I know. At least now I have closure and I can go away a better person. So should you use texting for customer service? There are ways you can, but always have the telephone or an in-person conversation as your backup, because that will save you so much hassle and so much heartache moving on. All right, that's my 2 cents. And until we meet again, leave the world a cleaner place than when you found it.